Well, hi again. Welcome back to Seekers and Cynics. My name is Richard Bentley, and we're here again at Bodmin Road Church. And this time I want to start a new little series looking at the Bible, trying to help us understand what it is, what it isn't, can we trust it, where do we start when it comes to reading it, what's in it. Those are some of the things I want to look at over the next few weeks. And, we come at this in different ways, don't we? Some of you may have written the Bible off as a completely irrelevant and outdated book. I hope I can help you to think again. Some of you may be open to reading it, but really not know where to start, and I hope I can give you a few pointers. And others may really never have considered it and not know anything of what's in it. And I hope I can pique your curiosity to take a look for yourself. You know, I think curiosity is the first word I want to focus on today, because when it comes to anything in life that others make big claims about, there are big claims about the Bible, shouldn't that sort of nudge us to take a look ourselves and get over our initial prejudices? I want to encourage you, whatever your view on the Bible, but particularly if you've sort of written it off, to reflect honestly as to, how much research has gone into that view, or have we just adopted a view that we've heard others say and it just becomes easy to repeat. The Bible's irrelevant, it's full of fairy stories, it's outdated. Those are easy views to repeat, they're easy views to say, but actually we've no right to hold those views unless we've done some work ourselves and dug in and taken a look for ourselves. And my guess is that many people haven't. And I want to provoke you, if you like, if you're in that camp, to take a look for yourself. There are some who would say at that point, and I do understand this, that actually, the Bible, certainly at first sight, is not an easy book to get to grips with. And I would admit that, especially if reading is not your strength. It's not an easy book at first sight. And later on in this series, I'll point us to some resources, particularly if reading's not our favourite thing, that can help us discover the Bible. There are some great resources on YouTube, some audio and video resources that will help us in. We'll come back to those in future weeks. But to those who would say the Bible isn't easy, although partly I accept at first sight it's not, I want to say two things. First of all, this. Just because it may seem complicated or unfamiliar or a little bit tricky in places, we shouldn't dismiss it on that account. You know what? A textbook on nuclear physics is hard and complicated, but that doesn't mean it's not true. And a repair manual for a car engine is also extremely complicated, but that doesn't mean it's not useful. And so in the same way, we shouldn't dismiss the Bible just because there are some bits of it that might seem a little bit difficult at first. The second thing I really want to encourage you with is this, that actually the basic truths of the Bible, the basic fundamental storyline and its basic truths are really quite easy to pick up and to understand. Somebody once said this, that the Bible is a little bit like a magic pool. It is deep enough for an elephant to swim in, but it's also shallow enough for a child to paddle in. And that's right. If God has provided the Bible for everybody, then you would expect there to be some deeper bits, but you would also expect the important things, the basic things, to be relatively accessible on the surface and not too difficult to pick up. And that is the case. That really, really is the case. To give you an example, if you take the Ten Commandments, 3,000 years old, but when they say do not steal or do not commit adultery, that's not difficult to translate into our 21st century. It still means do not steal, do not commit adultery. when Jesus says, do to others as you'd like them to do to you. That's not difficult to transpose into our lives today. So the basic storyline, the basic truths of the Bible, they are there on the surface and not too difficult to pick up. The last little thing I want to say for this time is this. Christians believe that the Bible is inspired by God, and I want to just think about what that word means. Now, there are some differences between different Christians as to exactly what the word inspired means, but in broad terms it means this, that God oversaw the whole process. That although, yes, the Bible is written by particular human beings in a particular culture and a particular geography and a particular time, that nevertheless God oversaw the whole process of writing so that the final result gives us what he wanted us to have. And that's not an organised, structured, systematic textbook containing the whole truth about everything. The Bible's certainly not that. But what it gives us is more of a roadmap for life and a guidebook for finding God and for getting to heaven. Everything that we need to know in order to have a friendship with God and to please him is there in this book. The Bible is like a collection of signposts which together are sufficient for getting us to heaven. God oversaw the whole process of writing to ensure that those signposts are telling us the truth about God and the truth about ourselves. A good illustration is to think of St. Paul's Cathedral. Imagine St. Paul's. It was built, we know, by Sir Christopher Wren, but it took about 40 years to build, and Wren didn't lay a single stone. Those stones in St. Paul's were cut and laid by thousands of different stonemasons. And yet we still say that Christopher Wren built St. Paul's because the final outcome is exactly what he wanted it and designed it to be. And in the same way with the Bible, the actual words were written by more than 40 different authors over a period of 1,000 years. But what we mean by inspiration is that God oversaw that whole process of writing and then the collecting together of those separate works in order to ensure that what we've got is exactly what we need in order to find him and to follow him and to know him and to get to heaven in the end. So I want to encourage you. The Bible is God's book for everyone. It's more accessible than you think once you've got a few pointers. And next time we'll come back and look a little bit more at exactly what's in it and who wrote it and how we can get the best